Hey, Kevin Lawrence here. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I felt quite rejuvenated after some time away and some time just playing with my kids on the weekend. Crazy times. What's interesting, I was talking with a friend of mine in Europe this morning, and they were saying how they haven't been able to leave their house and they still can't. I feel grateful being in the West and having more freedom and flexibility to get out. Hopefully it's the right strategy for it. So I hope last week was really good for you. We talked about making it a 10 out of 10 week and what could you do to make it spectacular in terms of work, self, and life. Hopefully it turned out to be something like that or better than it might have been by default. And one of the key things, a couple of courses taught last week is getting into gratitude and how can we be grateful for what we're experiencing? How can we see the bright side of the dark side? Because they both always exist. And it's easy to get caught into what's not working, and it's human nature. That's how we learn. But really, what is the bright side to the dark side? And really, what are you grateful for today? And there's lots to be grateful for, and lots of creative ways to express it. I caught up with my parents on the weekend and sat on their back porch. Keeping our social distancing or spatial distancing. It was funny because my dad's a very detailed guy, and he goes, "I don't think we're 6 feet apart." I said, "I know we're 6 feet apart." So he gets out the tape measure, and we were 8 feet apart, which was good. But we had some good fun and a laugh around that. So two things to share with you today. One, in terms of, it's normal that people are more tired and almost, we call it Zoom fatigue or Teams fatigue, whatever you want to call it. But there's an article that I'll share with you. And it was, this one was, I believe, Bloomberg. I'll put it on the screen so you can see it. And you can go to the site and look at it yourself. This is Bloomberg Business. It says, 3 hours longer, that pandemic workday has obliterated work-life balance. And the article goes through to kind of explain what's going on. So go to their site. You can check that out. But the reality is, for a lot of us, work-life balance has gone out the window, and and every day seems the same. Another CEO I was talking to on the weekend, they were saying where it just seems to be repeat and repeat and trying to figure things out and pivot. So the key in all of this is having time to recover and be able to settle back in and kind of consolidate all the things you've been thinking, think it through and figure out what's next. So, what I've been teaching recently is this thing called 45 and 2. 45 minutes a day for yourself. You need some basic exercise, whatever you're allowed to do, or more if you can. And then time to contemplate and plan and really try and find the good and the opportunities in this. And then 2 hours on a weekend to really reflect and replan everything again. Kind of more of an iterative process once a week to really dial in on that. So 45 and 2 is something for you to think about this week. And again, how do you make it another great week for yourself, for the people you work with in the work, and obviously in your life. Second thing I want to share with you is this getting back to work at work. And we have a lot of debate with the CEOs we're working with in the last couple of weeks and some of the executives. And there was a great article here that I found, and it was one of the major papers. It might have been New York Times that had pointed to this article or this tool. It's called Black Sheep Restaurants. I mean, restaurants, tough space to be in right now. I've got a lot of thoughts, like, to make that business model work. Either they need a notable reduction in rent or a notable increase in pricing to make the business model economic. Restaurateurs are thinking they can probably break even with what's allowed, with keeping the space between people. But it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. I know somebody will figure it out. But this Black Sheep Restaurants has made their COVID-19 playbook, and they got an overview. I thought they did a great job. They link it back into their core values, and then they talk about hygiene and their guidelines for hygiene, health, how to interact with guests within the restaurant, team organization, delivery and takeaway, managing costs, readjusting economics, communications, guest relations, external communications. They've gone through and laid out, and this is a group in Asia, you can see the text there. They've gone through and laid out for themselves. They've got a whole guide. Last week I shared with you in terms of Nike and what they're doing and getting people to normalize getting back to work. So some thoughts for you to think about. How do you get your life back to normal and work more back to normal, or normal in this new way? So, and on a lighter side, something for you to think about this week. What can you do to have some fun and to bring some fun into it? And I saw it as we were driving. I tried to get a picture. I couldn't get a good one. But this guy had a truck and one of those trailers you see on the side of the highway that lights up the sign saying, accident ahead or snowy conditions ahead. But it said, "Hey, Nana, happy 93rd birthday." So I guess they're the grandmother, or what they call Nana, wasn't able to get out of the house. So they got one of these big signs and they were going to wheel it up in front of her house or her apartment somewhere. I thought it was really cool. Great way, obviously, to honor Nana, as that's what my kids call my mom as well. But it's getting creative, and that's so. How do you have some fun? And it's amazing to see how humans are getting creative and iterating here. So have an awesome day. Let's make it a great week, and all the best.